Okay, so let's look at a relationship between, like, what exactly is happening is we have looked at the processing of discrete times, that is continuous time signals. We have looked at the processing of continuous time signals using discrete time system, right? Discrete time system. Now what we had looked at is the block diagram of that looked like, you, for a continuous time signal, your input will be a x continuous of t, right? Now we need to process it using discrete time system. So first thing is we will have to convert it from C to D using some sampling rate t. Okay, let's say this is t1 right now. Okay, and this is now converted to discrete time signal using the C to D converter. Now it is given to a discrete time system here, a discrete time system. Let's say that this system is a LTI system. Okay, so you have this system which processes y of n, and then that y of n is converted from D to C using D to C, and you get your yr of t. This is the reconstructed output to be given to the continuous time system. So now let's assume that this discrete time system is a LTI system. All this while we had this relations where this y of n, okay, y, so if this is a discrete time system, this discrete time system is LTI, then the first thing you will have is you will have a relation where your y of n will be equal to summation k, or let me just okay, y of n will be equal to x of n convolved with h of n, where your h of n is the impulse response of this LTI system, impulse response of that LTI system, that is the discrete time LTI system. Okay, now in the frequency domain you can represent this as y of e raised to j omega as x of e raised to j omega multiplied by h of e raised to j omega. This is what you have in the frequency domain. That is the Fourier transform of x of n is x of e raised to j omega multiplied by the Fourier transform of h of n, which gives you the frequency response of the LTI system, that is h of e raised to j omega. You get y of e raised to j omega. So you have another relation with you, which is yr of j omega reconstructed output is actually y of e raised to j omega t, which is this, which is y of e raised to j omega t. When I change y of e raised to j omega back to continuous time, the relation is omega equal to omega t into HR of j omega. HR of j omega is the ideal reconstruction filter, which has got a cutoff of, if T2 is supplied to D2C, then my cutoff will be pi by T2, from minus pi by T2 to pi by T2. Okay, so that is another thing. So y of e raised to j omega t into HR of j omega, this is what you have. Y of e raised to j omega t will be equal to x of e raised to j omega t into, basically substituting this here, this value into this, so x of e raised to into h of e raised to j omega t into HR of j omega. I also have another relation, which is 1 upon x of e raised to j omega t is related to the x continuous. So the relationship between this guy and this guy here is 1 upon t summation k equal to minus infinity to infinity x continuous of j omega minus 2 pi k by t. okay, multiplied by h of e raised to j omega t into hr of j omega. So now one thing we know is what is hr of j omega. Hr of j omega is basically a ideal reconstruction filter which has got a bandwidth from minus pi by t to pi by t. The value is t. Okay. So what you have here is, like, let's assume that right now, for simplicity's sake, let's assume that this t2 is same as t and this is also equal to t. So what you will be having is the filter will have the ideal reconstruction filter will have a frequency response which looks something like this. So anything multiplied by this within the band, only those frequencies. See, what is xc of j omega? Xc of j omega is some spectrum, okay, some spectrum which repeats every 2 pi by t, okay, some spectrum which repeats every 2 pi by t. So when you pass it through h of e raised to j omega, only the spectrum which is between minus pi by t to pi by t will be passing through. So all the duplications of this or the multiple copies of the spectrum will be discarded, and only the spectrum which is centered around 0 will be passing through. So which is the spectrum which is centered around 0 is your xc of j omega. So that is, this will be xc of j omega into h of e raised to j omega t, and this is hr of j omega has a value of t and this has 1 by t. So what you will get, end up it is yr of j omega is x continuous of j omega into h of e raised to j omega t for minus pi by t to less than equal to 0 less than equal to pi by t, from for omega between, sorry, this is omega between minus pi by t to pi by t. For everything else it will be a 0. Okay, so this is what you will get. So now if you look at it, the complete system here, this is the system which you have, the processing of your discrete continuous time signals using discrete time processing system. The effective frequency response of the system will be h effective of j omega, which is if you look at this particular complete system as 1, okay, so what you had is something like this, right? You had xc of t given to a system which has got a h effective of t, and it looks like h effective of j omega. It's a continuous time system, although underlying it is a discrete time, because you have a c to d and d to c followed with a discrete time system in between, and yr of t is the output. So now what you have is h effective of this guy, yr of j omega is equal to xc of j omega into h of e raised to j omega. This is similar to what you have is h effective of j omega is h of e raised to j omega t between minus pi by t to less than equal to omega less than pi by t, and it is 0 otherwise. This is what you will get as the effective frequency response of such a system. What is that system? The system is basically processing of your continuous time signals using discrete time system, discrete time system. So the system is looking something like this, right? C to D followed by a discrete time followed by a D to C, and this is what you get, yr of t, and this is x continuous of t. So this is your system. Clear?